Hi and welcome to Ali Lives Well Unless. I'm Ali, an early retired teacher, currently living well on my small teacher's pension. And today on Wide Ranging Wednesday, I'm going to very quickly share the story and turn this into a public service announcement on how I genuinely, accidentally food poisoned my ex-husband. My son half jokingly said, "Mum, please don't give the impression that you tried to unalive my father," and I promise you it was a genuine accident. So briefly, my ex-husband loved fish, and as I've detailed before, I like fish. I like eating fish. I like shellfish. I do not like cooking it. I do not like the smell, and there's 101 reasons for that. So many years ago, and bear in mind that this story takes place pre-2010. It was definitely before that, and it was before everybody googled their symptoms. So I used to live in Perthshire, quite near Crieff, which I think it still has a very nice posh fish shop. And I didn't live in Crieff, but I lived nearby, but it was a 10-minute car drive. And I went to the fish shop, and as a treat for my then husband, I got 2 fresh mackerel, and the fishmonger gutted them, took the heads off, did all that, so all I had to do was basically grill them. While I was in Crieff, I popped to the nice butcher, I stopped and spoke to a friend, I pottered about, and then I came home. And that's important for the story. So I came home, put the fish, all the things away in the fridge, and later on my ex-husband wanted the fish, so I cooked them outside. I mean, it was summer. I cooked them outside on the barbecue because, as I said, I cannot stand the smell of oily fish cooking. So to me, they were stinky anyway, so not a problem. So cooked the fish, he had them, thoroughly enjoyed them, said they were delicious, and that was fine. Until an hour later. And an hour later, he started getting red blotches on his neck. And then gradually, it was solid red, like sunburn red. And the red came all the way up his face, all the way up his head, his ears were bright red. And he started being sick. And we thought, oh, this isn't good. So we phoned a friend who was a GP, and he said, not sure about this, probably best to go to A&E. So we lived in rural Perthshire, so I had to drive with a small child in the back to Stirling, which was the nearest of A&E department, all the while my ex-husband was in the passenger seat vomiting. So we got to A&E and explained to, the doctor what his symptoms were, and the doctor went through, are you allergic to anything? No. What have you eaten recently? And described all the symptoms, and she went, I'm going to have to go and Google this. Now, this is an A&E doctor, and she wasn't a young doctor. She was in her sort of 30s, 40s. She says, I'll just go and Google that. And she went away, came back. Meanwhile, ex-husband still vomiting, still feeling absolutely awful. She came back and said, yeah, you ate mackerel that was probably not as fresh as it should be, and you have scombroid food poisoning. And basically we learned that mackerel is part of a family of fish called scombroids. And I believe tuna, this also affects tuna and maybe a few other fish, but certainly in the UK it definitely affects mackerel. And basically from the moment the fish is caught to the moment you eat it, if at any point along that part of the journey the fish temperature drops below a certain level, it naturally starts producing an excess of histamine. And it could have happened between getting to the fishmongers. It could have been me transporting it home in my car. Since then, I always put things in a cool bag. Meat and fish, whenever I'm at the supermarket, yep, goes into a cool bag. It could just have been one of those things. So a few days later, he was absolutely fine. I mean, he was just nauseous, a bit sick, and then I think the next day he had a bit of diarrhea as well. So it was all good. It was just one of those things, and it sort of became a funny family story where we would joke about how I tried to unalive him. And I'm using that word because the AI bots do not like the other word, so apologies for that. But yeah, it was not deliberate. It genuinely was an accident, and even he laughs about it and talks about it as a good story about the time his ex-wife tried to poison him. But yeah, so public service announcement from Ali. Always make sure that you transport your fish and fresh meat and other things in a timely manner, and preferably in a cool bag. Even better if you can put the ice packs in with it as well. So he was fine. It was all good. That's not the reason we got divorced. That's a whole other story. But yeah, since a few people asked, and since my son asked if I could clarify, I thought it'd be worth sharing my funny story about fish food poisoning. So if you're eating fresh mackerel and herring and other oily fish, just be extra careful that you make sure you don't poison anyone like I did. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you again the next time. Bye for now.